Welcome to Soul Tribe channel, where we help empower empathic energies and shift the energy on the planet. And today we have Bassanti with us, and she's going to be sharing her twin flame awakening story. So thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you. Um,
So,
oh my God, I'm actually.
oh,
I say.
well, the first thing I think I want to know is, when did you become aware that you met this twin flame connection?
When was I aware?
Was it?
Are you recording or can we do that again?
Don't even worry about it. Take your time to answer the questions, because sometimes, when we think back to times and stuff, everything's been such a big blur, right? But I guess what I want to get to is, had you ever heard of the
No, I kind of
term?
lost your name in my head. I was like, Tracy, is Tracy? I wanted to say thanks, Tracy, for having me. And then I went like, oh no.
It's the nerves. It's the nerves. Don't even worry. So,
Okay.
did you ever hear of the term twin flame before meeting this person?
No, not at all.
No. And
No.
what brought that awareness to you? Was it after meeting this person?
Actually, how this whole thing came about is because I connected with him on the July 23rd, and we got like talking and stuff like that, and his communication was pretty weird, because I felt like, the moment he saw me, he liked me. The moment I spoke, he went crazy, and then he's like, I want you, you're mine, da da da, I'm yours, and stuff like that. And I went like I don't even know you, but so for me, it wasn't like a straight away, like a pull, but I mean, yes, I felt a bit like the words where he said, like, there are times where people usually say that I haven't been with someone for so many years, but I felt like as if I've known that person for ages.
Yes.
And he used those words on me when we first linked up. So obviously I thought I was going nuts, because as time passes by, when we are communicating and stuff like that, it was getting really intense for me, and I was wondering why am I having emotions like that? Why do I feel like I like him a lot, and why do I feel like I want him? The very usual, the very basic, first steps of meeting your twin, I guess. I did not know the label was called twin flame at all. I thought it was just like soulmate, or it could be something somewhere out there more insane than soulmate.
Right.
Yeah. Yes. I was like, what is going on? So until I was meeting up with this girlfriend of mine, I told her what was going on. Like, I was excited to show her and tell her, like, hey, there was this guy, we connected and stuff like that. But I had no idea why was this rush of emotions, and it was getting funny things going on in your body.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think
Sure.
when they think of you, you feel it too.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't talk about those things that happen in their other parts of their body.
Yeah.
But I was going through stuff, and I was like, no, what's going on? Something is wrong with me.
I know.
And then my girlfriend instantly looked at me, and she went like, because I showed her the photo, I was not ready to show him to anybody. So to show her the photo, I went like, okay, like, this is him. And she went like, he looks like someone who's really calm and like nurturing and stuff like that. she said that it's kind of like, it looks good for me, like, and I was like, are you sure? Because this is over internet, so people out there are so many kinds of stuff going around, so I was a bit skeptical. Then and then I told her my experience, and then the whole outcome came about with that label. She told me, babe, what you're going through, what you're feeling with this guy, he is your twin flame. And then I
Wow.
went like, what?
Right. It's so funny how someone or something always brings the awareness to us.
Yes, it was like as if like the universe has provided this person for
Yes.
you at the right time when your
100.
twin comes in. Ta-da.
Right?
This
That's
is
just the way it works. It's so amazing.
yeah. So I guess my friend actually told me this, and then I was wondering what the heck is this. I
So
I was
had she had a twin flame experience? Okay, so she could kind of coach you through it a bit.
she kind of had like because she herself is in a twin flame dynamic, right? So it's like back and forward with everything going on. Yeah, so when she told me this, I was like, are you sure? Like, I didn't want this to be like twin flame. Like, don't tell me this is a twin flame. I would rather just like leave it as soulmate and be
Right?
done with it.
So much easier.
Yeah, so I did dig up a little bit more, and then I got to know more, and then I connected more with my girlfriend as well. So she was like telling me bits and stuff. What is this all about? But both of us got into a community of people who are like a soul tribe. Then it became even more into figuring out what is happening with this
Right.
whole thing. Yeah.
Yes, because it's a little bit of overwhelming. Now, were you a spiritual person prior to meeting this connection?
That's a weird thing. I usually always get nudged by my mom or my family, like go down to the temple and pray and do things. I mean, yes, I was brought up in that way, probably by the culture, the family. We do go to temple and pray and stuff like that. But I wouldn't say that I was so like totally pious, like staunch kind of prayers, person. I wasn't, but I would just go and pray and come back. But things did changed for me in the year 2015, I think. 2015.
Yep.
Yeah. That's when unexpectedly there was another set of a miracle that happened, which actually kind of shocked me big time because I think what I had experienced was Christ that came towards in my dream. So that was when I felt like oh, okay, what is going on? But at that point of time of my life was very, very bad. Like I was going through so much with life, that changes that is happening. I lost my faith, I lost my hope because I was praying so hard, I was crying, and like why like things are falling apart. Yeah, so just to make that very clear, I'm actually kind of cool to talk about it because I was going through a divorce. My ex-husband was leaving because there was obviously like some another person in the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and then I had no choice, but I had to kind of let it go. As hard as it was, but that's when my life changed. Like I said, like I don't know, maybe he came into my dream to prepare me for something way much bigger, because I felt his unconditional love in that moment of the hug that I had from him. Yeah.
And so that dream happened kind of after all the trauma?
It was, yeah, because of the trauma and everything that I was going through. And after that, it was even way more harder. 2015 onwards, I was going through so much more. But each day I tried to go about it, like, pull myself back up and then do what I need to do. 2016 got better. By 2018, my whole divorce was finalized, and the moment I received my document was like in May,
Mm-hmm.
and then was it May? June? Yeah, then 2 months later down the road, my twin walked in.
Right. And then there we go again.
Yeah, so I was trying to put all these pieces together, like, oh my God, like,
It's like one thing after another. But at least you know with this connection it is an eternal connection once, and you just have to get through all the work that's involved into coming into your empowerment. Now, did you have any signs or synchronicities or dreams that something was about to shift in your life with this twin flame connection? I know for myself, I had a dream in early 2013 that told me what was going to happen to me in 2015. But everyone's so different, right? Different things happen with these connections. Or something,
uh,
I mean, that's a synchronicity just having that friend come in and tell you, but was there anything prior to the meeting?
this kind of actually really, at that point of time in 2014, when I did my traditional marriage, like, because I'm a Hindu, like,
Mm-hmm.
we have our traditional customary wedding, right? So during that whole process where I was trying to get this done, as you're saying about synchronicities, right? Universe is trying to throw you signs.
Mm-hmm.
A bird flew all the way down. It was so scary. The bird flew directly towards me, like, it was in my ankle or something like that.
Like
It flew.
bomb diving you.
It slammed on the floor. It almost was dying. It was crawling up towards me. Everybody stared at me at the street. I was like frozen. My sister quickly came and grabbed me, like, "Are you okay?" I was in a total shock. So the synchronicity was to tell me that it's not a good omen to carry on with the marriage, but like I said, I still went on with it.
Yes.
Obviously, this term right now, what we called it is karmic, relationship or marriage or whatsoever, right?
Yeah.
So now that I have, like, I've grown furthermore, like, into this, and as time goes by, going into the growth, I'm learning about all this, and then that's why, like, putting the pieces together, and I realized that, man, that experience was scary.
I think it teaches us to really pay attention to those signs and synchronicities and trust our inner intuition.
Yes.
Because I feel the same. Like looking back, you can see signs and synchronicities where you could have made things a little bit easier. But it's not until we really get into the heart of everything, right? That we really connect all the dots.
I think all the signs were coming to us during those period of time, right? But as our 3D mindset, we wouldn't just know.
Yeah.
Like, even with numbers, like right now, when you say 1111, every now and then you will come across this number, like, in a queue or on your receipt payment. So back then, I had no clue. I don't
Yes.
know what was happening.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I find when you meet that twin flame connection, everything hits you from every single angle that if you don't pay attention, like there's no way you can miss the signs.
Yeah,
Because
it's like the
every
universe slapping you, wake
right?
up.
It's like you get beat down until you're like, okay, start listening, right? So it is pretty
Yeah.
amazing in that way, even with all the, fears that you have to push through and rise up, like the phoenix rising, right?
Yeah.
And what types of healing work have you used to really work through and raise your vibration? Have you started to do some of that energy work?
What are the things that I've worked through? It's been really difficult because I think like I said, like, when everything came about, I had no clue what is this, and probably I was still fighting it in my head. Like, this not a twin flame connection, da da da. But I think when I started asking for signs, and when the universe responded with the signs, and I went like, oh my God, okay. Okay, I surrendered now, I know that it is.
What
So,
what were some
uh,
of the most amazing kind of signs that hit you? Is it something that you could explain?
for me, it's usually the rainbows. I don't know why. I would usually spot a rainbow, and butterflies. Like, butterflies was my very first significant spiritual animal sign, that came to me when I was with him in union, like on the phone with him and stuff. But yeah, so then I realized it was birds. A bird literally flew into my house. So I was like, what is going on? I'm not Snow White here. Like,
This time it didn't like almost die at your feet though, eh?
yeah. So I was really going like, please explain to me what is happening. But I think my girlfriend told me, as time passes by, she was telling me, like, you need to do a lot of like your own self-love, and yes, this is a twin flame relationship. It's not an easy one, it's difficult, but I guess the whole thing happened when when I'm going into that stage where I'm learning about how am I healing myself, what are the things I'm looking at, back in the past, why I don't want to attract the same thing again, in this twin flame relationship. So it only happened when I had my own soul shock when he ghosted me, and then went completely silent, even though I was texting him, but I wasn't like going full on because I was still giving him that space, but I was wondering what was going on. But then my heart just exploded, and I was just completely lost, because a lot of things also came out, revealed to me. As my own intuition also, I kind of picked it up somewhere in October, November. But I kept telling myself, you know what, it's okay. Like, just be me. Uh, just be love. Be in the energy of love and show him what it is. But not expecting anything back. But when he really when that moment where he ghosted me I was gone. I was completely gone. I think my girlfriend couldn't handle me. She was like, I don't know what to say.
What
So
What do you think was the biggest fear for him that really created the separation to start doing your healing work?
oh boy. I think it was because the way I speak. Like, I a number of times I kind of do a little pushing. Like, I would prefer that you say more, because I know that each person has more to say in a day. And then I wouldn't push you if you're not ready to, but at the same time, when you're ready, like, then you can speak to me. But I know, even though if you're not speaking much or talking about things, but I know that you have a lot on your plate, to go through. So I guess maybe things like that I have mentioned, he felt like, okay, what is this girl talking about? Or it could be like, a number of times where I felt the intuition kicked in October, November, and then I went like, because you know how we can pick up energies, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of picked up that energy, and then I was very clear, although it was breaking my heart, but I was very clear upfront to say, like, hey, if there is anyone else up there who is in your area, it could be your colleague, it could even be your ex, coming back in the picture. just let me know and I'll let you go. That's
Mm-hmm.
how far I actually went with him to tell him that, so that we can part the ways and still be fine with it. Like, because it was taking him some time to come back with the answers of like when is he flying over.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of felt it then. I guess he got confused in that period of time, but he was also feeling like he was probably also picking up things like, how does she know?
Yes.
How does she know I'm up to no good here?
Yes. And I
So it was,
think I
yeah,
think since they wear that masculine energy that's still in that wounded space and not balanced yet, they wear a mask, right? So when someone starts to uncover that mask, you're uncovering their fears and it's showing them, right? And
yeah,
it's overwhelming for someone that's always put on that mask, right?
yeah. So I guess because from the age, from our age group, that's another part where I feel like because I'm 40 and he's only 26. So coming from that group,
Mm-hmm.
um, let's not put the label term in there. Coming from that age group, it's they are exploring.
Yeah.
Let's make it very clear. They're still exploring options, right? So there's so many temptations in social media, right?
Yeah.
And in most likely because the past relationship has wounded him and hurt him in such a way where he felt like, you know what, I'm just gonna go and explore like that, and not have any consequences to it, but just figuring out. But I wouldn't say he was like I don't know, like I know some people would say it's a player energy, but maybe like I said, 26, you never know. So
Well, I think until people, and that's where the divine femme has to, or the empathic energy has to lead the way in the healing, right? Because
yeah,
everything is interconnected. So those wounded masculine energies are in, whether it be different relationships or, playing with, overeating, or there's always some kind of vice that they use, alcohol, drugs, if they're not in that full potential, in that balanced space, and they haven't found themselves yet, they're going to use something to play with to make them feel better, right?
yeah. I strongly felt that he's numbing, because a
Yes.
lot of times in conversations he goes like, I'm holding back, and I'm like, yeah, but why?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he's scared, he ran, and then when I was going crazy, he usually would tell me, relax, boo, like, take
Mm-hmm.
it easy. But it was me waking up first, right?
Yeah.
I was going insane. I was like losing my mind, like, what's going on?
And
Yeah.
it's funny because you brought up your Hindu, and with Hindu culture and many different indigenous teachings, there's a lot of these teachings within the twin flame connection, right?
Yes, yes.
So, it's not like some other religions where it's so fully from, they've really highly manipulated it, but actually, Hinduism, there is a lot of um, good truth in it still that you can really, the astrology, just all the interconnectedness stuff it's still, it wasn't so manipulated like some different religions. So, do you find with that teaching, it's really helped you to understand this a lot quicker,
Um,
or
yeah,
you?
I think my girlfriend, yeah, because she's Hindu, so she kind of told me about this whole Damini thing, and then she's like, it's like, there's God and goddess, and that's they're supposed to come together, or yeah, and I would say that but still then I would say that I don't want to dive into too much into this,
Yep.
because then you get lost in this whole area of like, the label, and you're picturing yourself like the goddess,
Yeah.
he's a god, and like king and queen, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But
I guess.
yes, I guess you can pick certain things up in your knowledge to find out in that journey, and then use it as a tool. Like, you can find a lot of tools on YouTube nowadays, like the like we like when you were asking me, right, like how am I healing, how am I doing stuff, like I said, I connected with more people then, because I was going crazy. It wasn't fun at all because I was feeling suicidal, and it was not fun,
Yeah.
like what's going on, because I went through major depression disorder after the whole divorce process and stuff. So to come back to this, I was like, no, like this can't be it, like so I really fought it really hard, but I needed to speak to someone. Like,
Yeah.
I need someone to know what is exactly happening. So when I found out, and then we got deeper, like we found out then to learn about your chakras. There could be blockages. There's a lot of emotions stored in your wound space, guilt, anger, shame, lots of stuff. And then like I was like, okay, so I started learning in depth of things like that. Okay, so sometimes it's really hard because as a twin flame, you are magnetically connected, right?
Yes.
And it's really hard how to detach, and I was struggling to detach. So I was like, okay, detach, let go. So my girlfriend said, surrender the whole process and the outcomes and stuff like that, but yet you can still manifest, but then you have to let go.
Yes.
So there was a lot of like, trying out this, trying out that, tweaking and turning around. Yeah, so, but I guess there are a lot of tools there that can help you out, and as well as someone who really, who is someone like another twin flame person who's in another twin flame relationship, yes, then you can go by all means and question out and speak about it, and
Exactly.
get that help. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think have been some of your? I know you're just kind of starting into your twin flame journey, but have you had
Yes.
any major breakthroughs, like with your healing, that's really helped shift your energy?
Oh, major breakthrough. Yes, when I was trying to detach, no contact at all, right? I was kind of shocked when I was asking uh, the universe of some sort of sign. He came back in March last year
Mm-hmm.
to apologize. So I was like, okay, apologizing, but I know it was still not the whole truth. And then I still accepted the apology, and I still said, you know what, I forgive you, but and I let it be. So I guess in coming around this, the breakthrough would have been last year. I completely hold my energy back, like because I know what's going on the other end, and I was like, if there is going to be third, fourth, fifth parties, and then I wouldn't want to be involved and associate with that. So I pulled myself out, and it was hard as hell to do it, but I had to pull myself back again to pull back my own power, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what I was going through was like the shift that was happening. Then you've been having the energy symptoms that was going through, and then like I was figuring out like how am I going to do this, like am I like am I able to meet someone else, just and move on with life, like I'm not sitting and waiting and move on, but I know deep down this connection is always going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
You're connected to each other, right? So something else happened. Obviously the universe has a way of doing things. I met a soulmate. So shockingly, because how I am, how I put up my energy, like the kind of person that I am, right? Like that I give love and I give affection, and that's how I am, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this soulmate of mine was exactly like that. So I had a shock of my life, and I was like, okay, what's going on? So I was dragged, like, I was pulled out for a minute, like out of my twin flame, situation where I was going through life over the other side now. So, um, however, right, when I'm going through this, but I've not forgotten who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I am still the twin flame, right, with or
Yeah.
without my DM coming forward. So my work is still there. Like I had to really, shift through, thoughts, patterns, feelings, beliefs. Even I went out with, on a date, and I told myself to go out, give myself a shot to try it out, what's out there, and I did. So it was a good date. So what I think after this whole going out and exploring as well to figure out my life, my dreams, or stuff like that. But um, it came back. My twin flame
They feel it.
energy
As
came
soon
back.
as soon as you take your energy off them, they feel it and they try and pull you back in.
So I and I was like, oh no. But here's the thing. What I'm trying to say is that because I had this mindset of mentality that I'll never be able to feel love again. I'll never be able to have this emotions for someone else, which I
Mm-hmm.
did. Which
Yeah.
I did. So I was quite, shocked.
Exactly.
But now, like I'm just trying to, detach or isolate myself in a way where I think even, like dates with other people and all that, but if if they don't see your worth, or you don't feel your value, then and then because you are the one who's giving so much, and if you're not getting that back from the other party, then you need to just pull yourself back again. So that's
Exactly.
exactly what I'm doing.
And I
Yeah.
find too, like meeting other people, connecting with other people, it helps you see yourself in different aspects and different
Yes.
areas where you're maybe giving your power away. You know, maybe where
Yes.
you lack confidence. Okay, I'm going to reel that in and I'm going to work on that aspect of myself. I find
Yeah.
gemstones have really helped me with that. Like I had a bit of some confidence issues, so I got opals, and I got opal earrings and an opal
Oh,
necklace, and
that's beautiful.
opal's amazing for that. And it's funny because I when I first wore it, it was so overwhelming that it was making me dizzy, and I could only use it for a certain amount of time, so I had to work myself into using it. And then just recently I heard you don't need it anymore. I heard that in my mind, and I didn't take them off, so I ended up losing the one earring, and then I still didn't take my necklace off. 2 days later, I'm getting changed, and I noticed that my necklace broke. It was still around my neck. The opal was gone. So it's so
Oh
amazing how
my.
gemstones work. You know, when you're done with them, they'll find a way to, leave.
I had like a chain with like black beads. I don't know what crystals were those. Um, but there was a turquoise, and then there was like a moonstone for me. So according to Chinese, right? Like the fortune, what do you call that? Like is it a fortune teller? But I don't know. I think it's more like feng shui, like telling
Yes.
you what are the elements that you're lacking of. So they told me, is this chain with that moonstone? But guess what? Somewhere along last year it broke.
Yeah, so it
Just
means
broke.
you're
Yeah. So
done with that energy and you've worked through that, right?
yeah. So I do have certain crystals. Yes, I've noticed that certain crystals does help. Like I think rose quartz is very common.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then I think I recently bought this Lumerian crystal, like because I'm connected down to Lumerian timeline.
Yep.
yeah, so I bought this really rare blue crystal. I was so in love with it, and again, it was not as if I was going around looking for it, but it just
It
came
comes
along.
to you, right?
Yeah, so that was amazing.
The
In between,
Lumerian the Lumerian quartz is really good for channeling sacred knowledge too.
oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually really into the codes, like
Yes.
what do you call that? The
Like
language, like
light language.
light language
Yeah.
and the codes, and yeah. So I am still going at it with this whole thing. It's because like what you said, I'm still like in that beginning process of this whole thing. Yeah.
It's really amazing, as challenging as this journey is and all the healing that work that we have to push through and heal through to come into our empowered space. It is amazing the things you learn and channel and the people you connect with along the way to come into your purpose.
Yes, yes. The one that I went out with, that guy I went on a date with, you'll be surprised because like I said, the universe has a way of doing it. He brought out the inner child in me. I
Yes.
was so playful, I was laughing, there's a lot of giggles. It was very childlike. So it was good. Like I think at that point of time I needed, someone to remind me that hey, like, you had this, you lost this in the process of, this whole, twin flames, getting shattered and all that. But like I said again, I think it's meant to happen. That separation was meant to happen. Whatever that
Yes.
he went down the path was probably meant to happen. Yeah, but now that's the thing. It's like now, like, what's the next step?
Yeah.
Everybody
And
goes like, yeah,
and it's really triggered all this healing in you, right? So that's a gift in itself to just have that 1111, that mirror image to awaken your consciousness to really help you shift into more of what you desire, right? um, and as we're shifting, we're also starting to get vision for our purpose, for our passions. Like, have you had any nudges from the universe or visions on what you see for your future or a direction that you want to head in?
yeah. This has been really strange, but talking about dreams, dreams has been really weird. Like there's a lot of things that happen. Like maybe it's showing me from a past timeline. Um, where I was in the sea with dolphins and stuff like that. But I don't know. So certain part of me where I think I'm still wondering where do I really go, where do I really fit? Because before that, right, like before this whole thing happened, I used to be like an entrepreneur. I kind of do health. Wellness programs, right, for taking care of your health, your body, getting into fitness. What you eat is how you produce yourself out there, right? So um, I was doing a lot of this, and obviously from my experience, because that I came from this broken marriage, right? And then people in society look at us like it could have been you, da da da, pointing fingers, and so I became like very vulnerable with my story, and I spoke about it.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't hiding anything, so I became like a person who speaks out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I post a lot of stuff out there to put like to help other women in my like in my line of like my list or unknown person out there, to see what's going on, or like to push them like hey, it's fine to go and talk about it, and not to be ashamed about it. So I guess what I want to do is it's a bit it may take a little bit more time, but however, like I said, the dream that I had, I was connected with one of the readers. I contacted the reader and I told the reader I dreamt that you came to me and told me this. And then the reader told me I may have in a sign of the numbers I gave her and stuff like that. She told me that I do have psychic abilities in a way, and I may be able to even do my own YouTube probably,
Yes.
giving out cards reading or stuff like that. And she says that like
What kind of reading did you say?
I think more like a tarot card readings,
Oh,
like
yes.
yeah. So I don't know, but
Yeah.
we'll see where it goes.
Well,
Yeah.
what happens is as you start to heal out of your fears and raise your vibration, everyone does have psychic abilities. Everyone has that ability to tap in. And it's just about raising your vibration. And that's getting into our highest life path. When we start to get into that space, we start to get vision, right? And we connect a lot easier. And really, every divine femme has that ability. And that's kind of what helps us to navigate through this twin flame experience. But then as we reach out to other energy workers and it took me about a good year and a half where I had help from other energy workers with my healing. And then once you learn how to do it on your own, then it's like a chain reaction, right? You start to help other people as they awaken. So that's what gets us into a better vibe, right?
I'm not very sure. Like I don't know whether have you heard about this called it's called Prana Violet Healing. I think I went for this workshop like a year ago. And then I met my twin, right? So I was doing this healing for myself. Like it's basically to heal your chakras, cleanse your aura, learning about cords attachment. Cutting cords from people. Basically it's just telling you like your body, it's a spiritual body, right? So you need to actually keep it clean as well as how you need to come when you come back home from a long day of work. You need to shower, right? So it's the same basic hygiene habits for spiritual. Like so as I was learning all this, then I think I realized I was doing this healing, and then it's very strange. Like I don't know. So maybe in future, I don't know. I may
go into that.
Maybe go into that healing process to help other people.
Is prana for your is that breathing?
They do have breathing techniques they teach you, but also you can sense their body energy. Like you can tell where is the blockage. Is it from the throat chakra, the heart chakra, solar plex? And then it's your whole energy space. Is it being exposed? Because your aura could be really, really big, and then people are all in between your aura, and it messes you up as well.
It does.
Yeah, so I'm learning a lot about things like that. So in I think I may also take a year or so to figure out what exactly I want to do. But I'm very, very interested in having like a women's circle group, like Soul Sisters.
Yes,
Bible,
and that's so important, right?
Yeah.
To bring those empathic energies together to help them understand how we work as that feminine energy, right? And bring back those indigenous teachings. Because I think through a lot of the colonization around the world, we lost these indigenous teachings, which are so sacred to helping that, shift the energy on the planet. Like it's always heart, feminine before masculine, right? But we've been so manipulated that only use your mind, but it's created such an imbalanced energy on the planet. And now we're shifting it. We're shifting it to that yin-yang balance.
Really strange because in the past, right, I had never gone for this kind of workshops.
Yeah.
Last year I went for this ceremony. I think it's called is it cacao?
Cacao. Oh yeah, the chocolate.
Yeah. Oh yes. Oh my god, it was hell of an experience. So a friend of mine introduced me to, brought me along for this thing, and I was like, when I went for the experience, and I literally cried.
Yeah.
I was tearing and hugging everyone.
Yeah.
It was so it was the vibration, like it's out of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so amazing. So you mentioned the prana healing, the prana violet healing.
Yes.
Was that before you met your twin flame that you took that? or
I
after?
think it was somewhere along that way. It was probably a year before he came in the picture, I
So
think.
you had
Yeah.
already started your healing work, which is like consciously started to do your healing work, which always makes it a
I
little bit
was
easier.
introduced, yeah. I
Yeah.
was introduced to it then, and then yeah, and then he came in the picture. So then I was doing this,
Yeah.
and it wasn't that far actually, I would say. Like it was in the same year that I had that my sister dragged me to this, and then yeah, and then he was in the picture after that. So I know that I was doing the healing for myself, right? Like I think for twin flames, they usually say it's like when you're doing this for yourself, like he gets the healing too.
Yes, they do.
Yeah,
Yeah, since, everything is interconnected, but especially with your twin flame. I mean, the only way you come into union is when the feminine is in their full yin yang heart mind balance, right? And empowered. So, and that's what creates the shift on the planet. I mean,
yeah,
otherwise, if we got these connections and didn't do anything, there would be no purpose to it, right? The purpose of the
yeah,
twin flame is to globally, as a collective, shift the energy and bring us into higher vibration. So we're not creating only from mind only manifestations, which are basically killing the planet. So it's that healthy shift, right? That's our job, is to create that healthy shift. So
yes.
yeah, it's quite a job, but when we all work together, it makes the process a little bit more enjoyable and easier, right?
Yeah, I like I mentioned, it was really hard. I think the last few days I had purging as well, and feeling him the whole time, and I was like, oh my God, how do I go through my day like this?
Yep.
Yeah, it's really hard. So for and when sometimes when you're going through this, and the circle of people that you have, that are outside of twin flame, it's another whole thing where um it makes it harder because they don't know exactly what is going on with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then they judge you, and or they say that you're insane.
Yeah. 100%. But I think,
Yeah,
as you awaken and start to shift your energy, people, places, situation, jobs, it all starts to shift with you. And you start to create your own soul tribe. And it's in that, creating those healthy boundaries, that really helps other people that are in that judgmental space to shift their consciousness, right? Because, I mean, usually after they've judged something, karma hits them, and then they have to go
it,
through something, right, to experience. But
it's yeah, it's really strange because I had a number of people around me back then. Because as I was already going through these changes in my life in 2014, 2015, I've already started like letting go of people where I feel that they just don't
pulling on your
click.
energy, yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of I already had this part of me where I'm ready to let go if you don't serve my purpose.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I had been doing that back then, and I didn't like enough, maybe unconsciously, right? I didn't know. But another strange thing would be that as you're growing into the stages of your path of your journey, right? um yes, like jobs, it may be like, hey, this is not suitable for you, and then you're out of that job. You got to
Yes.
figure out what to do next. And then um with your regular friends who comes in and out, and then you realize that hey, their energy is so off, something about them, and then you start realizing that they're not talking much with you, or
Mm-hmm.
you are like not talking much with them, and then you just feel that um I don't know, for me I felt like I'm fine being alone, to isolate myself away from everyone, and I'm okay with it, like, because I need to know what I'm going to do with myself, like
Yeah.
what am I yeah, I need to focus on this path, like not saying that going at it 24/7 and not live a life as well, but
Mm-hmm.
just like I would say I'm daring enough to just say, you know what, I need my space. I'll
Yes.
see you next week. Yeah.
100%. And I think just valuing yourself and
Yeah.
knowing and trusting what you need, and not caving to other people's expectations or what they want from you. And that's
Yeah.
really where we start to step into that space where we start to create our own vision instead of what everybody else was trying to project onto us.
Yeah.
And that's such a good space to be in, because that's where it starts. So
Yeah, so I guess, yeah, that's how I'm doing it. And then for healing process would be using the, prana healing.
yeah.
And then meditations, like, in between here and there, like when I get onto it, I'll get onto it, like, and do it. But I like singing and dancing as well. So, like I said, like that whole cacao ceremony was so beautiful. Like, it was really, really nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
It really gets you into that divine feminine mode, like you're the
Exactly.
goddess. Yeah.
With the
Like, you got
expression,
this, do
it's
this.
so important for us to express ourselves, right? And bring out that inner
Yeah.
child. So yeah, that's so amazing. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with us?
Um,
Or a message for the Divine Femme Collective that are doing their healing work?
I guess it's okay to actually, because I know it's very, very difficult. Like, sometimes where, when your divine counterpart is like completely shuts you off, no communication and stuff like that, you will really go into this stage where you feel like you're completely lost and you don't want to be around.
Mm-hmm.
Really don't, like, fight for yourself first. Like, and it's okay that if you're crying for like 2 straight days, 3 straight days, don't let anyone tell you not to. Or I guess because for my experience, I felt like when you need to let go, because everybody has a different stage of healing process, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for some people, it may take 1 day and then be done with the next day, switch. For some people, it take longer. But what I'm saying is, if you're feeling upset and you're feeling like you need to cry it out, you let it out. Like, just let it all out and then reflect and go through with it, like what went wrong, or maybe, you did, like I know a lot of times where we feel like we could have done something wrong in this whole connection.
Yes.
Yeah, so because I was like that too, but here's the thing where you need to just let go of that and then keep on telling yourself to trust the whole process. Like, till now it is still difficult, but I keep telling that to myself every day. Like, I think that's the thing that I keep telling myself: have faith. Have faith, have faith in your twin as well, no matter what they're doing out there, who they are with, how many tons of lists do they have. Let's not focus on that, because when you're focusing on that, then you're creating more
Mm-hmm.
of the outcome. So I guess divine family, we need to kind of stick together, help one another, and see where it goes. Yeah. Take the
Yeah.
process, take the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So true. Thank you so much for sharing your story. And I do believe that, it's each one of these stories is going to really help to give that confidence and that help those divine femmes take back their power. So just in you sharing your story helps in the healing process. So thank you so much, Bassanti.
Thank you for having me, Tracy. Oh my God.
You're welcome.
This is, really pleasure doing
Yeah.
it.
It's so great to hear everyone's unique stories and different perspectives, but we all seem to get the same information. We get the same downloads. We all kind of know what we have to do, and to just really trust that intuitive space within us, because it is a connection from the divine, and it is for the best for everyone. And I think as empaths, we always want the best for everyone.
Yes.
Right.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. Like, okay, I have one question. I don't know if you want to put this up in the YouTube, but I'm cool with it. Here's a debate that was going on just a few days ago. Now, when we talk about twin flame divine love, right? They are our divine love and stuff like that.
Yep.
Obviously, source is our divine love, right?
Yep.
That we are connecting back to source.
Yes.
Now, twin flames, when we are on this timeline, on this earth here, if we may, like, a lot of people are saying that we are getting too much involved where it's a romantic concept in your mind, in your heart space, right? So it gets very tricky because there are a lot of things out there, right? On Google, pages and stuff like that. So sometimes for a lot of us who are like quite new, could go a little bit lost in this process. How do we overcome overcome this in such a way where people are telling us that get out of this thought in your head that it's a romantic connection.
I can answer your question.
That.
I can answer your question. So
yes.
In the beginning, the empathic energy is mainly in their heart space, okay? Their heart rules over their head, okay? So in the beginning, it's going to be romanticized because that's the space we live in, okay? Now, the purpose of this connection is to become whole, okay? Which is holistic, the holistic concept, those indigenous teachings. So becoming whole means becoming balanced within your yin energy and your yang energy. Yin being heart, yang being masculine. When we're in that balanced whole space, we become the god and goddess. Okay? So what happens as you do your healing work and heal your heart space, heal that inner child, because over many lifetimes that feminine energy has been wounded. Okay? So being an empath, being a divine femme, whether you were male or female in past lifetimes, you were always the femme energy. You were always the empathic energy. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of past life healing that also comes up, as well as lineage healing. So we are in that embodiment of the heart energy, so we romanticize things. Okay, we've always lived from a heart space, and therefore we've faced a lot of challenges. Okay, because mind energy has been in power and control. But it was needed because that's what created structure. Okay, that's what kind of created our economy, all that kind of stuff, through a lot of pain and trauma on the feminine heart energy. Okay, so what happens is the feminine energy is now healing from all those past traumas. And as they heal, they start to come into their empowerment, which is heart-mind balance. When you start to get closer into that mind balance and it becomes balanced, you start to see it from a different aspect. Okay, so in the beginning, you're very connected and attached to this twin flame masculine counterpart because they are everything that you are not. They're your polar opposite, but they're the same, like that same soul at the same time. Okay?
I see.
So it's not until you start to come in, do a lot of your healing, that you start to come into your heart-mind balance. And you know you're in your heart-mind balance because you become a conscious co-creator. A conscious co-creator is someone that creates from a heart space. They're aware of what they create and they're aware of how it affects the planet. And they're aware that they're creating from their space, who they are. Okay, so they're creating from a balanced yin-yang space. So when you start to get into that space, you start to see this connection on the whole. Okay, the holistic perspective. You become whole and you start to have vision from a holistic perspective. Okay, so that's where you see it as it's shifting the energy on the planet. And so then it doesn't become so much about your counterpart. Okay, because you have taken that energy that they have and you have it in you now. And just as you have it in you, they start to fall into their heart space. So as you balance you, they balance them. Okay? And as each individual, that's where the god and goddess comes in from indigenous teachings. The feminine becomes the goddess, the masculine becomes the god, and that's it, sitting in balanced power, becoming conscious co-creators. And actually, I do live readings on my Inner Being Awakened with a registered psychotherapist, and we help, and we talk about all of this kind of stuff, channel spirit to help people step into their power, and that's every Saturday at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just to raise that awareness of how it works, right? Because it's such a process, and sometimes we don't fully understand it, because I remember I was there where everything was about my counterpart, because they filled that void inside of me. But once you start to create that for yourself, you start to feel like you don't need anyone, you know, the way we used to feel like we needed people. It's completely, you become empowered. So keep doing your work. You'll see how it shifts. I hope that helped and answered the question.
It does.
Yeah.
It's beautifully said, like, because I was figuring out, like, you know, a lot of people are saying, you know, don't get it in your head all twisted, you know, romantic, you know, and stuff. You know, twin flame is not about romance, but and
It's
then
about
I
both.
was, yeah, but then because I had questions where I'm like, you get tingling
Yes.
in your body.
And it
So
is.
how can you, yeah, and how can you say that it's not romantic or romance, you know? But
It
it
is.
is.
It's
Yeah,
both.
it is. So it is both, you know, like and there's a reason why, you know, the both of you connected in a way, and there's a purpose for it.
Yes.
So it's whether or not are they strong enough in this timeline to, you know, work on it, and at the same time for us, like divine feminine, are we, you know, able to pull through?
Yes.
Or
And
are we
it's
still
always,
having issues with codependency and stuff like that?
yes.
Yeah. That was my big breakthrough. Let
Yeah.
me just tell you that.
That's perfect.
Codependency.
Yeah.
That was my breakthrough.
And I totally get what you're saying. Like, it is
Yeah.
a romantic love. Whether it comes together in this lifetime, I always believe that is mainly up to the divine feminine and how much empowerment work they're going to do, because the empath always has to lead the way. But I mean, on a grand scale, and I think the people that are saying it's not about romanticized love, I think what they're at a state where they're probably at the state where they're trying to become empowered right now. Okay, so they're trying to kind of separate and become whole on their own. And I know they've been in that space, but sometimes we get to that point where we're trying to separate our energy and create the healthy boundaries with our divine counterparts. Because as you know, they pull on our energy. We can feel each other. You know, we feel that sexual energy. When they're thinking of us, we can feel it. And we feel it in different places, right? It's not like, yeah, it's not just our hearts.
See, you know, when I'm talking to you right now, and because, like, you know, I do feel empowerment, so I'm feeling a bit weird.
Yes.
And I know that he likes it, you know, like.
And especially when you pull your energy away from them, that's when it comes even stronger. Because they feel it,
Yeah.
whether they're aware of it or not. They may not consciously be aware of it, but they feel it, and that's when you start to get even more sexual energy. So, yeah. But the thing is, when it comes down to it, as we heal and come into our empowerment, and they feel it, it just kind of gives us that push to keep going, right? And that's how we have to use the energy, you know, to really push us forward. And it's like that push and pull that really helps us to keep going. But yeah, it's quite the process.
That's so great.
Yeah, quite the process.
Yeah, it's a long, hard process, but I think it's worth, actually, to be honest, because those were my words to him, and I think he also kind of mentioned that same line of words back to me. Like, I mean, because we were waiting for each other that, you know, last year, hoping to see each other this year, or, you know, summer last year, actually, by, you know, but we know that it's going to be worth. And that was unconsciously that we used that words to each other. So you see,
Yeah. You knew that there
yeah.
was gonna. You both used the word work. That would there would
We
be.
kind of, yeah, like it's going to be worth it, like,
Oh, worth it. Yeah.
yeah.
And it's
So it's
funny.
strange.
Even
Yeah.
even before you're aware of the title of this connection, there's words that are shared between the two that when you
Yeah.
look back you're like, why did we say that? It's like we knew without knowing, right?
He used to call me princess.
Yeah.
And then I found out that my timeline, I was in Lemuria like a princess, right?
Yes.
And then, we were like running a kingdom or something. I don't know, like, still feeling that part of my life.
Yes.
But and then I think during New Year, we kind of used the term of like, he used the term of queen, like happy birthday to my queen. And then I said, when it was his, I think was it Christmas or New Year, then I used that word back to him, like, Happy New
Yeah.
Year's to my king. You're my
Yeah.
king, Yeah. So it
Yeah.
was so strange because I look back at those text messages and I go like, oh my God, we were doing this text and we didn't even know.
Exactly. And it's things that you wouldn't say to another partner that you've been with that come up. And I remember mine was, with my connection, we'd always be like, I feel like I've known you before this lifetime. And this was even before I even believed in past lifetimes. Like, it was just such an intense connection, right? So, yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
amazing, the different
When he
synchronicities.
showed me his photo, when I was looking at his photo and I went like, wait, have I seen this photo somewhere? Like I literally felt like I've seen his face somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, no, I don't know. Like,
Yes.
I went like pause. Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely pause.
Yeah.
And the strange thing is, I think twin flames are very similar with how they look. It's
Yes.
either something in their eyes
Yes.
or the features.
100%. It's so true. And a lot of times there's a recognition within the eyes.
Yeah, because I didn't know that he had brown eyes, because mine is more striking that you can see, but during the day. So when I told him, like, I haven't even met you in person, like, haven't even seen your eyes, like, and I'm really feeling like that for you, like, I'm falling for you,
Yes.
So he kind of screenshot, like, click his, eyes, and he sent me, and I went like, oh my God, you got brown eyes? And then I started comparing our photos, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. It's so funny.
It's just crazy.
All the different synchronicities that happen. Well, thank you so much, Bassanti.
Thank you.
And
It gets even crazier. It
Pardon?
gets crazier as you go by. It gets even more crazier with synchronicities.
yes, it does.
Like the universe will keep throwing you his country, his name, his birth date. You see it on TV, on streets, and anywhere. Like it keeps coming back to you.
It's so true. And I find the more that you do your healing work, the more that you get these nudges to keep going and keep pursuing it, right?
Yeah, but I'll scream half the time back to the universe. I know!
I know.
Stop it!
I know.
I'm-
It's so true. It's so true.
Yeah, like, no, hunt him. Don't hunt me.
I know. Well, because we have to lead the way. I'm always curious to know. I can't wait till I have Twin Flames in union together on the channel to share the story, just to see what the masculine went through, because I know they're getting synchronicities. Like,
Yes.
I know once they start to step a little bit into their heart space, I know it starts to hit them too. So,
Yes.
yeah, it'll be really
It is that.
interesting. Yeah,
It is very interesting. I would like to actually follow your channel then.
Yeah.
See what's up.
exactly. Is there anything else that you wanted to add before we close off?
No, I think that's about it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Thank you so much, Tracy, for having me today.
Thank you. And have a great evening. It's probably almost time for bed now where you are, eh? What time is it?
It's almost 11. Like
Singapore?
it's already 11. Yeah, 11:05.
Okay. Have a great evening.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay.
You
Bye-bye.
too.